she accused me of stealing. Then she also accused me of going against a contract and being a conflict of interest towards her business because I was posting pictures that I took of the services that I performed in her salon. Today's video, I just want to talk about my experience working with a Black-owned business here in LA, what my experience was with it, why I am no longer working there, and you know, kind of like what I took back from it, because it was definitely an experience. If you haven't, make sure you go follow me on my Instagram on my beauty page at That's Her Glam. And my skin is, y'all don't need to tell me, but my skin looks absolutely terrible. Like, I want to blame it on my mask and my hormones. I really don't know what's going on with my skin. Like, this is just like the worst it's ever been. I don't even know. Also, my hair looks absolutely crazy, y'all. I'm just looking bad, but it's all good. Let's get into this story time. I was looking for a job after our last shutdown in LA. We had our last shutdown in November. So I started looking for a job because the restaurant that I was working in, I was working as a hostess. You know, I was just like, you know, I'm getting unemployment money, but I'm still like looking for a job because I was just like, I can't sit in a house. Like, I'm just not one of those people. Like, I am always out and always, you know, whatever. Just like, I'm just a busybody. Which now I look back and I'm like, I should have been putting that energy into my channel because I am trying to grow my channel. You know, that's definitely top one. There you go, right there. I came across this job on Indeed, and it was for a lash tech. So back in 2017, I had started a class. Did a class, but I didn't get to complete it because the instructor for the class, actually, her mom passed away, so she didn't want to continue doing the class anymore, which is understandable. Like, if something tragic like that happens, like, I can only respect that you just want to step back from it. So I never got certified. So I found this job on Indeed. They were looking for lash techs. You know, at this time, I did not know this was a Black-owned business. Now, here back in 2020, you know, everything that was going on, you know, with black people and you know, just Black businesses, I was like, man, like, I really want to support Black businesses, like, more than ever. Like, I want to support Black businesses because we need to stand together and empower each other during these trying times. Like, this is something that is like, I've never seen it this bad before, and I'm only 28. At this time, I didn't know that it was a Black-owned business. I was just like, oh, this is like a lash tech job. Like, this sounds fun. This sounds cool. The pay was like only $15 an hour. But, you know, that's something that I knew, that walking into it, I was like, okay, it's only $15 an hour. But at least the long term, looking at it from a long term perspective, I can see that if I'm able to grow my craft, grow my skills, grow my speed, grow my clients, it will be worth it. Taking that pay cut would be worth it because I would be, in the long term, I would be building up a bigger version of myself in that perspective of being a lash tech. I would be, you know, building up my clientele, building up my brand, my business. I would be able to offer, you know, lash extensions to my existing clients for makeup and hair, and I would be able to, you know, expand my services to them as well. So that would be a plus to them. I'm sorry, y'all, my lips are ashy. Walking into it, I didn't know that this was a Black-owned business. I was just like, oh, this is a great opportunity. And I kind of did a little bit of research, you know, just looking, you know, when you hear back from a brand like, oh, like they're interested in hiring you or moving forward in an interview or something, like, you kind of are like, now you're excited. So now I'm excited and I'm like, oh, I want to know more about this brand. So I start, you know, doing my little research. And the reviews, you know how you go on Glassdoor or you Google the brand and you're able to look up to see, like, okay, what have other people who have worked for this company, what are they saying about the company? So this was before I knew that they were franchised. So I'm doing my research, and I come across, you know, a lot of reviews that kind of said, it was mixed reviews. Like, a lot of people were saying like the pay is low, you know, you're getting overworked, they're tired, they don't get benefits. That was the main thing that stuck out to me. I'm like, wait, you don't get benefits? Like, you don't get health benefits, you get free services, but you don't get health benefits. The pay is low, but it's good for beginner lash techs because you are able to build your skills, build your speed, and build your clientele. And, you know, within a period of time, that will all come back because you'll be able to make more money by being faster and having better skills. So I was like, you know, anytime I look at something like that, I kind of try to look at things from a bigger picture. I try to look at it like, okay, the pay is low, but I'll be able to do this, that, and the other in the long run. So it may be worth it. Whatever. Long story short, this is like November. I hear back from the owner after doing my research. I'm still like, you know, it's like I've gotten mixed reviews, but that really hasn't stopped what I'm thinking about doing. Because, you know, I'm like, it's a pandemic. I look at everything as a blessing in life, and I try to always look and gear my perspective of things on the more positive side of things. I always try to look at the glass as being half full as opposed to the glass being half empty. So the owner emailed me, was just like, you know, telling me like she had been trying to open this business for about a year now, and COVID had kind of gotten in the way of things, the whole, you know, the whole nine. So she was just telling me like, you know, she's looking for this, that, and the other, and set up a phone interview with me through email. So I said, okay, great, sounds good, you know. Then we got on the phone. The vibe was really, really good. Like, the vibe, I got on that phone with her, and the vibe was just there. You know when you get on the phone with people, and it kind of was just like we had known each other already. Like, that's how good we were vibing. We were vibing to the point where I was just like, dang, like, do I know this lady? Like, she's so cool. Like, she's super dope. Like, this is what's up. Mind you, if you saw my video where I was talking about I got fired, where I was on the beach, and I was just like, it was on Christmas Day, and I was talking about how I got fired from a job. And remember, in that video, I also talked about I was upset that I had gotten fired from that job because I had chose that job over this job that I'm talking about now. So I had actually chose that opportunity over this opportunity that I'm now talking about as a lash tech. I chose that because it was more money. So she was like, get back to me, you know, let me know if you want to move forward with it, you know, and we can go from there. So I was like, okay, cool. And in the meantime, like I had been on like a whole job application spree. And my friend, remember I was telling y'all in that video, if you haven't, just go watch that video, but I was telling y'all that my friend had put me onto that job. Yeah, it was $25 an hour. So I was like, dang, $25 an hour versus $15 an hour. Which one you gonna choose? Like, I mean, y'all know what it is. It's a pandemic. I got to get in where I can. I got to do what I can. That's not always the best. But in the end, now I don't work for either of those jobs. But that's just what it is. I guess that's just how it is. That's just how it played out. So anyway, you know, I had went with the other job, and I told this job that I'm talking about now, I had basically said like, you know, I would love the opportunity, but it turned out that the training for this job and that job both, like, it landed on the same week, and the hours, like, I wouldn't have been able to do both. So I obviously went with the higher paying job because it made more sense for the situation that we were in as far as the pandemic. It made more sense for me financially. It just made more sense. It didn't make more sense for me in my vision long term, but I was looking again at what I was doing now versus like the end goal. Sometimes just because it looks good right now, that doesn't mean that it's always going to be the best. It doesn't mean that's always the best, you know, deciding factor. I went with that job, and in the end, I got fired from that job. So remember, I was just like, okay, now I'm about to start looking again. So something just told me to reach back out to this lady, which I don't know if that was the devil, because clearly this wasn't a job for me. Or maybe it is. Maybe this experience is for somebody else who needed to hear about this, and maybe you're experiencing something similar to this and you don't really know how to like respond to it. I'm not really sure, but anyway, so I had been getting emails, like I was on their email list, and so I was like, maybe I should try to reach back out to her. Like, maybe they're still looking for artists or stylists. And maybe, you know, this may be like, yeah, like maybe I should just try it. Just see, like, you never know. So I emailed the lady and I said, hey, happy new year, because it's now January. And I reached back out to her and I said, hey, I spoke with you last year, and I know that I passed up the opportunity because of my schedule needs and things like that. If you are still looking for stylists, I am still interested in the position and the opportunity, and I would love to move forward if you are still looking for stylists. And I kind of left it at that. I just left the door open, and I was just like, yeah, the worst that I can be told is no, or not right now, whatever. So she wrote me back and she said, yes, she was still looking for artists. So I said, oh, wow, that's great. So when are you planning on opening? And so she told me she was planning to open as soon as she could. We at this time, we were still restricted to things that were being open. Hair salons, nail salons, barbershops, all of that was still closed. But a lot of people were doing outside business and stuff like that. So finally I met with her in person. The interview went really well, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward to the week of orientation. I met the other girls, everybody was cool, we were all vibing. It was just really, really good energy. And when I got there, we were all black. It was all black. We were all black women. So, I'm just I just felt so good. I'm it's just it's all black women. So then everything's going good, everything's going great or whatever. Second week comes, and first week we're kind of frustrated because we're doing everything virtual, and we kind of all have questions. We have questions we need answers to. And mind you, this is a whole new staff. So the manager is new. She's new. She don't know nothing about lashes, which is fine. I think this is her first management job as well. She was so cool, so dope. I loved her. But she's just as unaware of things as we are, as the staff is. The manager, the owner, I should say, because the manager and the owner are two different people. So the manager, that's the one I was just talking about. She's cool. She's new to the brand as well. She'd never been, and this is her first management job, but she was cool. So things started to kind of take a little turn the second week. So one of the girls didn't come back. After the first week, she didn't come back. And we kind of thought that was odd. It was wait, why didn't you come back? We had did all our paperwork, and we had did all of this and did all of that. So after she didn't come back, we was just oh man, that was, because when a good group of people vibe together and y'all are all coworkers and everybody gets along, it's a good feeling. So you kind of I'm oh man, we lost somebody, whatever. Things start to take a turn when we start noticing certain things. Second week comes and the trainers come, we're learning certain stuff, and we kind of are feeling a little bit better. We starting to ask more questions because now we have a person that we can ask questions to and all of that. So now we kind of all right, we feeling a little bit better. The salon wasn't supposed to be open until we were all actually certified. So in the time that the salon isn't open, we are taking clients who are paying for services at a discounted rate because they understand that we are training. They understand that we are, we're new. We aren't professional. We aren't certified. We are learning this as we go, and they are the models. They are receiving services at a discounted, free to discounted rate. And through this time, they're encouraging us to take pictures, post the pictures, and do what we could to be able to draw people in and just tell them where we were and tell them how to find us, all of that. When a business is new, you're just trying to raise awareness. You're trying to be able to build up the people who are around. You're trying to get them to know who you are. So the main goal and why they were trying to get us certified was because unknowingly, and when I say unknowingly, it's because when you first sign paperwork with a new job, it's so much stuff. It's so much stuff that you just kind of going through. You're reading it, you're going through, you're okay, this is the normal stuff. They slid in a contract. Now, some jobs do slide in. Some jobs do have contracts when it comes to the beauty industry. Depending on what you're doing, they do have contracts because of the requirements of the job and because they don't want to lose people. They don't want you to be a competitor with their brand and with the services that they're offering, because we as beauty professionals tend to be able to offer services outside of the establishment that we work at. Unknowingly, we signed an agreement. And the agreement basically was saying that once we are certified with this brand, we cannot leave the brand after 6 months. And that's not the first time like I've seen, sorry, this is starting to dry. I left it on too long. That's not the first time I've seen, like, there are plenty of businesses that have contracts or agreements in place that they make you sign so that you don't quit once you get trained. Once they give you their training, you can't quit. So that really wasn't a surprise to me. And then things just kind of started to take a twist when they kept trying to push us to get certified, because mind you, we couldn't charge the full prices. So she as an owner could not charge full prices for the lash services that we were offering because we weren't certified. And the people who were getting the discounted services, they knew and understood that we weren't certified. So that was why they kept coming back, you know, because they knew, like, oh, I'm getting this lash service for like $25 when people was out here spending like $180 to $200 to get a full set of lashes. So, you know what I'm saying? People are gonna milk it. So she's trying to get us certified, and we just, like, stuff's just starting to not add up. They gave us the menu for the services that we're going to be offered, and the menu, you know, the services were about, like, on average $180 to about $300 for the lash service. So, you know, it kind of raised a couple of eyebrows, like, dang, like, y'all charging this much for services, but we only getting paid $15 an hour. And you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I already knew that it was going to be $15 an hour, because again, that's what I agreed to. So we kind of can't get mad, but you can feel away, because it's like, dang, like, we only getting $15 an hour and y'all out here charging this much for lash sets. Like, that's a little crazy. So things started to kind of take a turn when we, like, me and the other girls, like, we would be having little separate conversations, and the next thing you know, the owner would come in. Like, she wasn't there during the day because she worked a whole other job, and so this was like her business on the side. And so she would come in, and things that we were talking about, she would bring up, like, not while she was there. Like, I don't know, one day we were talking about, like, the price list and how these prices was crazy, and they getting all this money, and, you know, we're getting $15 an hour, da 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 da. Things aren't right, da da da. You know how it is. You be complaining. And so she came in one day and she kind of mentioned, like, the prices. And so we kind of thought it was weird, because we're like, did anybody say anything to her? Like, it was literally one of those things where it was like, nobody. And then the owner, well, guys, so the prices are like this because, you know, this is an upscale salon. We want to give the guest a memorable spa-like experience, da, 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 which we understand, like, we get it. But it was just like, it's not one of those things. It was just like, girl, how did you even know? So we kind of was just like, okay, that's weird, whatever. Then it was something else that came up. Like, I forgot what we were talking about. We were talking about, so we weren't able to clock in and out. We weren't able to clock in and out, which is weird. I have never worked at a job where I was not able to clock my own self in and out. Our manager was clocking us in and out. And even the manager was just like, this is weird. Like, I've never worked at a job where I had to be responsible for clocking the employees in and out. Like, that's just not a thing. Like, no matter what, I kind of feel like that's, like, illegal. I didn't clock my own self in and out. I didn't keep track of my own hours. Like, that's really weird. At first, when it was happening, we were just like, you know, maybe we're going to be able to clock in and out, like, you know, within the next week or so, because the systems, like, we were learning. The front desk people were learning the systems and everything. So we were just like, well, maybe we'll be able to clock in and out once they learn how to work the system. Cause, you know, again, we opened this business. Like, this is a brand new salon from scratch. We opened the business. Like, we opened it. We're the first team. We're the first people who work here. We're learning all the software with, like, checking people in and out for their services. you know, them paying for transactions. So everything is new. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'll give this some little bit of time because, you know, I know how it is, like trying to open up a place and, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know how it is, but like I can just be understanding to the fact that this is just brand new and like things aren't really fully operating yet. So just be patient. I kind of thought it was weird, but I was just like, you know, just give it some time. Then, you know, management, she kind of started feeling overwhelmed because we was looking at our checks and we were like, wait, what time? Like, I was part-time, 2 other girls were full-time. It was 6 of us total, so 6 girls total. 3 of us were like part-time and 2 of 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. It was like a couple of us were part-time, a couple of us were full-time, and that was it. But when we started discussing how much our check was, because you know, you're like, girl, how much was your check? Oh, my check was this and the other. Oh, my check was the same, but we don't even work the same hours. So how did we both get paid the same amount of money and we don't even work the same amount of hours? Like, that's crazy. I've never like, huh? So that's when we started to side eye and we was just like, how is our checks the same? How are we getting paid the same amount of hours and we don't work the same amount of hours? And I know for a fact I worked such and such amount of hours. I work 34 hours. Why is my check the same as somebody who's working 24 hours? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just was just weird. So, and then we didn't have access. So we didn't have access to our pay stubs. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? Like, I've never worked anywhere where it was this sketchy. Like, what's really going on? So we started to question little stuff. And that was another thing. Like, we would all be at work. And this was before we knew what we know now. So we started to ask each other about like our checks and stuff like that. Come to find out, she had cameras in the salon, and how she knew was because they were listening to our conversations. Her and her husband were the owners of the salon, and they were listening to our conversations through the cameras. And so when we started to question certain stuff, we would notice like things would change. So we started complaining about the time clock and not being able to clock in. We was just like, that's really weird that we can't clock our own selves in and out, and then all of our checks is the same, but we can't clock our own selves in and out. So we don't know what's being put in the time. We don't know what times and hours and numbers are being put in when it comes to us getting paid, because we can't clock our own selves in and out, which is shady. I've never worked anywhere like that before. So that was weird. And so we're like, okay, something's not right. Like, we can't clock ourselves in and out. Our checks are all off, messed up, not right. You know what I'm saying? Stuff was just starting to be like, okay, what's really going on here? And then they listened to our conversations. Like, when we would be talking, the husband would call the salon and be like, hey, the girls can't have conversations, like they need to be working. We would just be like, what? There's no clients. Like, who are we supposed to work on? There's no clients, girl. So we would just be like, so this is how we knew that we were getting spied on. I'm not gonna say spied because that is their business, but it's just like, at some point you're invading our personal privacy by listening to our conversations about the problems that we're having and y'all aren't addressing. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just becoming weird at this point. Hold on, I'm gonna do my brows and I'm gonna come back, because y'all, I can't do my brows and talk. It's kind of weird. So I'm gonna do my brows. So now going into week 4, you know, we're starting to take clients. We did lashes, we did lash extensions, lash lifts, brow tinting, lash tinting. Well, we found out that we weren't able to do lash tinting because here in California you're not allowed to do lash tinting for some reason. Not really sure, but that was the first time I heard that also, so I don't know how true that is. But, you know, we weren't able to do lash tinting. I'm still trying to give this place the benefit of the doubt, me being me. Like, I'm just like, just hang out, just stick it out, like stick it out, watch all of this, you know, pass by, and, you know, things will fall into place as they need to, you know, like, don't give up too soon. Like, I'm that person, just kind of like watch how things fall into place. But things weren't getting better. They were starting to get worse. Like, things were getting worse. People were quitting. people weren't coming back, so it was making it harder for the people like me and the other girls, the other two girls, because then we were down to 3 girls. At this point, all this is happening, people are quitting and they're not coming back. Well, now we're down to 3 stylists and the manager. Before I mention what I'm gonna say, because again, I feel like I was wrongly accused of stealing. I was accused of, taking pictures and putting them on my Instagram, and none of this was a problem while I was working there. It was only a problem after I quit, after I decided that this was no longer the place for me, and that I didn't want to grow here, and that I wanted to, pursue other routes. So, it was never brought to my attention that I wasn't able to put things on my Instagram. So that was another thing on why one of the other girls quit, because they made this big deal about us putting our work on social media. Even though they wanted us to put our work on social media, we had to tag them, put some type of information in the post or in our bio that let the people that we're posting to, let them know where to find us, where to come for the service, and all of that stuff. Like, hey, come see me at blank lash place. Come see me here, or I'm here today, or da-da-da-da, or come get this free service at the lash place. Basically, long story short, we were down to 3 artists. Then one of the other girls quit. She was just like, she sent the email and was just like, I don't like what's going on. Like, a lot of things aren't clear. A lot of stuff isn't in black and white. Things are changing up. Rules are changing every single day. Once y'all realize like that's not working, y'all changing rules. Y'all listening to our conversations. Y'all are spying on us. Just different little stuff is just happening, and it's just like it's making you look bad. And me, I'm just like, no, like, stick it out, because this is a black owned business, and I'm like pro black owned business. Like, I want this to work for her. This is somebody else's dream that I'm pushing myself to get out of bed for every single day, even though it's not making sense to me, even though stuff isn't adding up, even though there's so many red flags along the way. I'm pushing myself out of bed every day for $15 an hour to go to a place that is not making sense, that there's so many red flags. I'm unsure of it. I can't clock my own self in and out. I'm being spied on, and my conversations are being listened to. I can't do this. I can't do that. Like, just so much. And the other girls, their point was like, we're only getting $15 an hour. This is not worth it. Things will get better. Eventually, things will get better. That was my whole, like, things are going to get better. No, they did not get better. They, in fact, got worse. And I think everybody's main issue was the contract. So the contract basically that we blindly signed stated that once we got certified through this lash place, we could not quit. We had to stay employed with them for 6 months after we got certified. So she is pushing us. As girls are quitting because they're realizing like, hey, like, once we get certified, I can't go nowhere for 6 months. I'm not getting stuck here. This place is like a madhouse. Then one of the other girls quit. She was like, forget it. Like, if something had happened with her check, and she was just like, again, here we are with this money. The money isn't right. I'm gone. Peace. So now it's down to just 2 girls. Me and the other girl. Me and the last girl. We working, and mind you, we both part-time. So they're trying to get us to be full-time. They're trying to push us to be certified. They're trying to get us to be full-time. Because she knows that once we're certified, we can't go nowhere for 6 months. So that was what she was trying to do, was make us get certified. Like, oh, I think you can certify. But the thing was, we would get certified on our own time, on our own time. When we felt that it was good for us to be certified, when we felt we were ready to get certified, then that's when we would go to management and say, hey, I think I'm ready. And to get certified, you had to do like a volume set within like 2 hours, or a volume set within an hour and 30 minutes. You had to do a classic set within an hour and 30 minutes. You had to do a hybrid set within an hour and 30 minutes. And then the application itself, they would go through, they would look, they would make sure there were like no like stickies. Everything was like nice and uniform. There were no lashes were lifting or shifting or moving or coming off. So it was, and being there for only like 3 weeks and taking so many clients in that time, we weren't ready. So they were trying to push us to get certified so that we would have to stay and go, stay our 6 months. when that wasn't happening, because we was just like over it. A week or two later, the other girl quit. And so now it's just me. I'm the only person, I'm the only stylist left. And I'm like, at this point, you can imagine like starting out with a strong group of people, a strong group of black women, like everybody, like it was so much love, it was so warm, and then it all went sour so fast, so quickly. You can imagine how each and every person started to feel. Like they were just like, man, like I don't know, like, you know, you start to feel unsure, you start to feel discouraged, you start to feel like this isn't maybe what I was interested in, and this isn't what I thought this was going to be. You know, you start to feel like this is not it. So that's how it was feeling. That the morale was low in the salon. So it was literally me. And mind you, so no, when it was just us three girls before the last girl quit and the other girl quit, and then it was just me. Before that, the manager quit. The manager quit. The manager quit. When the manager quits, that's how you know. And that's when something in my mind, like a voice in my mind was like, when the manager quits, that's how you know it's time to go. Like, the manager quit, and she sent an email. She literally like didn't say nothing to any of us. She sent an email, and she was like, you know, thank you for the opportunity, but I won't be returning after today. And she was out. She never said anything to any of us. She was just out. So we were just like, wow. So, okay, fast forward back to me being the only person. So me being the only stylist there now, I'm just like, wow, like, okay, Elizabeth, what we about to do? Because I don't know, like, this is just crazy. I ain't never been in nothing like this. This is just crazy. Like, what do we do? So I kept praying. I was just like, you know, when you don't know what to do, you pray. So I was like, Lord, like, if this is not for me, I pray that you will please open up another opportunity for me and close this door if this is not the right place for me to be in. Like, please just know that I trust you, and I know that you will guide me to the right place for me, and I trust you. I'm going to let go. I'm going to not have any anxiety or fear or uncertainty or any doubt, but I'm just going to let it go. So I did, and I kept praying about it even after that, and before you knew it, an opportunity came, and I was like, all right, well, this is it. I'm back to doing hair. I'm doing wigs. So, hello, like, you know, it kind of goes hand in hand with my vision board and the vision that I set in place for myself this year about wanting to, you know, maybe or possibly start a brand for women who are experiencing alopecia, or women who are experiencing baldness, or just women who just want to embrace their beauty through wearing wigs and extensions and weaves and whatever else there is out there that we wearing. That kind of came back to mind. So I was like, I'm gonna follow that. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, through all of this, I learned that stay grounded in the vision that you put in place for yourself. Because when you start to do all these other different things and you start to pursue all these other different routes, then that's when the lines get blurred. That's when you kind of feel and find yourself where you're like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where is this road leading me? You kind of start to feel lost and unsure of yourself. But that's why I had to pray about it, and I was like, Lord, lead me back to where I need to be. And that place opened up for me. So I'm grateful that place came just in time, because this place was nuts. And I was literally about to just quit and be out the door without a job, because I was just like, this is crazy and I'm just not here for it. So let me get to the juicy part. So I quit, and, you know, I sent a nice little email, and I said, hey, you know, I want to thank you so much for the opportunity. Like, this has been amazing. You know, I thank you so much for believing in me enough to give me another opportunity or another chance to kind of work for your company. However, this is not meeting my needs personally and financially. This is not going to meet my needs. And I kind of left it at that. And I said, I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you well in your business. I wish you success and prosperity and abundance in your business. And yeah, it's nothing personal. Like, I made sure I made that a point. Like, this is nothing personal. It's not personal at all. I wish you nothing but the best. Love, Liz. Not love, Liz, but sincerely, Liz. And so, yeah, never heard anything back, which is fine. You know, I figured like I wasn't gonna hear nothing back. She kind of salty. That's cool. You know, whatever. Mind you, all of us girls in the group chat, we're still kind of like communicating with each other because we're like, this is nuts. This is crazy. We're still kind of like communicating with each other. So when one of the other girls said her last check, they shorted her hours, her last couple of weeks on the paycheck. She didn't get paid what she was supposed to get paid, da 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 da. And I'm like, what you mean, sis? Like, what you mean? She was just like, yeah, she didn't get paid all her hours that she worked. I'm like, isn't this illegal? Like, don't you, like, what? So I got my last check and I didn't get paid all my hours. I didn't get paid my tips. She didn't pay me. She did not pay me. She didn't pay me my tips. She didn't pay me my commissions. She didn't pay me all my hours that I worked. And I know for a fact because I knew and I kind of figured that she was going to be shady and not pay me all that she owed me in my last week of work. I kind of figured she wasn't going to pay me all my money. And she shorted me my hours. She didn't pay me my commission. She didn't pay me my tips. I'm like, sis, like, did you not think I was not going to look at the pay stub? When we finally got access to look at the pay stubs, because mind you, we couldn't see the pay stubs for a period of time, which that's also shady. Like, who does this? Like, what kind of business are you running where I'm not able to see my pay stubs? I'm not able to clock in and out. I can't see what hours are being input until I actually get my check. And I look at my check and I say, you only paid me for 16 hours and I worked 35. How'd that work? It don't. So this isn't going to work for me. So, you know, I peeped that she shorted me and I was like, all right, whatever. I see the games that you about to play. So I'm about to play them right along with you. Sent her a nice little email and said, hey, I hope everything is going great for you. I have a question about my times on my pay stub. You know, this isn't the amount of hours that I work. You know, I took a picture of my time card, and the hours that I did work. And this wasn't what the hours that are on my check are not the hours that I worked. How that ended was basically she tried to spin it and say all this nonsense. I'm going to screenshot the email. I'm gonna screenshot the email so that you can see like what her response was and you know what my response was. I kept it professional, kept it nice and sweet. And things kind of started to take a turn when she began to, you know, accuse me of stealing lash rods. I'm like, girl, I don't even do lashes anymore. So what am I going to do? What's going to be the use of me having lash rods when I don't even do lashes anymore? Like, I don't do lashes. Like, I mean, if I do lashes, I'm not going to be doing lash perms. She accused me of stealing. Then she also accused me of going against a contract and being a conflict of interest towards her business because I was posting pictures that I took of the services that I performed in her salon. I post them on my beauty page, which she was well aware of before I blocked the page. And yes, I blocked the page because it came to a point where everything that we started to post with our work, they would come in after things not being in black and white. They would come in and say, hey, you can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. You can't put this on your page. You can't do that. I'm like, are y'all making up the rules as we go, or like what's really going on? So once they started doing all of that, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do this. Like, I'm just gonna block the page and y'all can just do what y'all want to do. So yeah, I got accused of stealing. I got accused of wrongfully posting stuff that was against an agreement that I was never aware of. And yeah, so that it kind of ended really, really nasty. But I think the straw for me was her accusing me of stealing, because I'm like, you think that low of me to think that I would need to steal something from you after you gave me an opportunity as like working in your salon? Like, you really think that just because it didn't work out for me, I'm gonna steal from you? Like, I'm not even that type of person. So I kind of like shed a little tear because I'm like, wow, like people are really nasty. Like people really, they will really take it there. And I'm like, it's not even that deep to me, but maybe she's just so salty and so offended that I quit and that I was the last person to quit. I think out of everybody, she didn't think that I was going to quit. But when stuff started to not add up, I was like, yeah, it's not gonna work. Like, you're not being transparent, it's not gonna work. And I'm glad, looking back now that she accused me of stealing, I'm so glad that I don't work there anymore, because I would never want to work for somebody who thinks that low of me. Like, never, never, never would want to work for somebody who thinks that low of me. Like, you really think that I would steal from you? Sis, I don't steal. And I have no reason to steal from you, ever. No matter how sour things get, I'm going to always wish you nothing but the best. I'm going to always wish you nothing but success in your business, nothing but success and prosperity in your life. Like, I would never. I said what I said, and I wished her well, and that was it. And that was my experience working for a Black-owned business. It was my first time working for a Black-owned business, and to say the least, it was a bad experience. I didn't have a fun time. It wasn't well. It didn't end well. It ended really, really sour, and it ended really, really bad. I just was like, this is really, really sad. Like, I was rooting for her. I was rooting for the whole salon. I was rooting for everybody. I'm like, we Black, we're minorities. Like, this is just a great opportunity, and it ended horribly. It ended horribly. I'm glad that I don't work for her anymore. Like, accusing me of stealing, that really did it for me. This is just my own personal experience. This is my own personal experience. I don't want anybody to think like I'm bashing Black-owned businesses. I'm bashing Black women who own businesses. Like, it's nothing like that. It's not even giving that. It's never giving that at all. I'm not even that type of person, and if you follow me and you know me, then you know that that's not even the type of person that I am. But working for this Black-owned business, I think things could have went a lot better, a lot more smoother. Things could have went so much more better. Like, it didn't have to end like this, but it did, and it just makes me sad. And at first, I kind of felt like, I don't know, at first I kind of felt bad for her, but then when she accused me of stealing, I was like, girl, bye. I found out that the business has been closed, shut down, ever since I left, ever since I quit, because I was the last stylist to quit, that the place has been shut down, and she has not reopened. And I don't know if she's going to reopen. I heard she is, like, looking for new stylists, looking for people to work for her. I don't know how long she's gonna be up and running in business. If this is how she conducts and runs business, I don't know if she's gonna be in the game too long. But hey, that's not for me to call. So yeah, that was my experience. I think I would definitely give another business a try, another shot, but that just went really, really, really bad. So I hope you learned something from this. I hope you were able to get something from this. This was just my experience. But yeah, I wish nothing but the best for every Black-owned business. I wish nothing but the best prosperity, long-term success, and all of that good stuff that comes with it. But I hope that you learned something from this, and I hope that this experience will help you in whatever you're deciding that you want to do. If you have a business, I hope that you were able to learn something from this, and that you were able to take something away from this and change someone else's experience working for you, because it was a lot. It was a lot, but I hope you learned something from it. Anyways, y'all, that was it for my story time for my Black-owned business experience, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to give me a thumbs up, comment down below, because I know it was a lot. I know it was a lot. But comment in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you're feeling, what your thoughts are, and what you took away from this video. Be sure to subscribe so you can see more of me, and I will see y'all in my next video.